This is CRM Audio, the Microsoft Dynamics CRM podcast, with George Dubinsky, Joel Lindstrom, and Sean, the CRM Hobbit Tabor. Welcome to episode 4, guys. How are you doing today?
I'm well rested.
Well, good. I would hate for you to have a poorly rested podcast. George,
Exactly.
How are you doing?
I'm nearly to go to rest, so I'm very close to my rest.
So you and Sean are kind of opposites right now. Cool.
Yin and yang, if you will.
Let's get started. Here's the news with Sean Tabor.
All right, everybody. Well, once again, we have a light news segment this week, given beginning of Microsoft's fiscal year, so not much to report on the CRM front. We do have 2 items of note. The first, Kingswaysoft has released Parature and Dynamics marketing adapters. So this is really good news. It's going to allow implementations for these products to tie those integrations together much easier, and it will also allow us to integrate those systems to other systems. I have one other topic, but I want to save that. So let's have some discussion on the Kingswaysoft adapters. What are your thoughts on these, Joel?
Yeah, I've recently looked at them, played with them a little bit, especially the Parature one. And as you said, I think this is a huge thing because the criticism or the concern we get when talking to clients about Parature is not that Parature is a terrible product. People are excited about the great functionality in Parature, and the customer care experience it gives is top notch. The downside is the integration is still fairly limited. You got to realize that the Parature acquisition is still fairly new, and Microsoft has been working hard to bring things in, but as of the latest release, Update 1 for 2015, the only integration point is knowledge base articles, which is great if you do knowledge base articles, but if you do chat, if you do case management in there are a lot of things that are not yet integrated, and people want them to be integrated, want customers, accounts, contacts, cases, chat history. You want to put that in CRM to preserve it, and so you can act on it further there. So the real benefit here is, if you're familiar with the Kingswaysoft SSIS adapter for CRM, this is very similar to that in that this now gives us full access to basically most of the data points inside of Parature. And so the really cool thing is, if I'm implementing CRM and Parature, I can now extend the somewhat limited out-of-the-box integration as easily as doing an integration to any other system. Or the other cool thing I think really opens up is that I can fairly easy integrate Parature with any other system out there. So if I have another help desk system, or if I have an ERP where I want my account data to sync between them, it's now very possible to do with that. So I'm pretty excited about it.
It's really interesting. I'm quite excited. You mentioned the other systems. I'm actually quite excited about another Microsoft purchase. They acquired User Voice, which is going to be, to me, it's much more exciting purchase than Parature, because User Voice was one of the benchmark Web 2.0 applications, very user-friendly, very intuitive, and very engaging platform. So I'd love to see how this is going to end up.
For a while, I thought User Voice was owned by Microsoft because they were using it very heavily for discussions around convergence and MVP Summit, things like that. Yeah, I think that's a great fit for them too. The challenge, like everything else, is just tying all this stuff together into a unified message. SSIS type integrations are by nature a batch type integration. Now, sure, you can get near real time, but more or less it's a batch type integration. So what I would say is this is not necessarily an answer for I have a case open and I immediately need to act on it in CRM. I don't think it's going to necessarily be a great fit for everything like that, but I'll give you a specific example that real people are asking for, which is chat history. I want my chat history in Parature to be available as an activity in the activity history in CRM. This now makes that super easy because I can set up a batch type integration and have access to the chat history in Parature and have that go over to CRM as, say, create a custom activity or something.
Right.
And I also think versus like ParaConnect or a custom integration. The great thing about Kingswaysoft and SSIS type integrations, same as Scribe, is it allows us to create an integration that I can train a client on how to tweak it. I can say, okay, you want to change this mapping from this field to this field. They don't have to call me back to do that.
Right. It does give a nice little, the Kingswaysoft adapters in general give a nice consistency to the integrations, which I like.
I was going to say, just taking the opposite side and wearing a different hat, or taking the red corner.
Here's the bad cop.
Versus,
here it comes.
Here's the bad cop. What is the value of pulling in the data from Parature into CRM, creating a duplicate of your data, while you can use something like USD, which we can discuss in a separate podcast, I suppose, where you can easily integrate platforms on the user experience level.
My answer,
maintain single context and easily bring stuff in as if it were coming from a single application.
Here's how I would answer that specifically. It would depend on what type of data you're talking about. So 2 scenarios. First of all, account and contact data, I think is a no-brainer that I want that sync between CRM and Parature. Because if I have people calling in, or I have people starting a chat or emailing or whatever, and I update their contact information, I want to have a master contact information. So I can see, and that right now, out of the box, that doesn't sync. And so I can see that would be the first thing I would say. And then I would say the things like chat history, if I view that as just another type of activity, if I wanted to do unified activity reporting and see, for example, whenever they've called, whenever they've emailed, whenever they've chatted in one view or one report, that's where the value. I'm not saying I want to forklift all the data between the two. I agree. If it's though just a process thing where I need to be chatting with them in Parature and see their account, I would say do both. Look where the process needs to be unified real time, use USD or something like that for that. But from a data standpoint, if there's data that I need to be synchronized between the two to make sure that your contact information is correct in both systems, or that I want to be able to see a complete history of activity history with you. For example, call centers frequently compensate their people based on activity counts or types of interactions, and so for them, having the data in one point where you could do it, and with the Kingswaysoft, maybe it's not you're bringing it into CRM, maybe you're moving your CRM activity data and your Parature chat history into your data warehouse where you have your more detailed reporting. That's what I would say. It depends on what type of data and what you want to do with it.
I suppose, reporting would probably convince me to go and integrate. And for reporting purposes, then batch is fine. You don't need real time to report on chat history plus other activities, which is usually stretch over the days anyway. So I guess, that makes sense. I'm quite keen to know a bit more about MDM. MDM comes out of the box with a reasonable adapter, two-way integration between MDM and CRM. And the challenge is not so much how to push data around, because the mapping is reasonable, like when it comes to attributes. The challenge is to map different business models. For example, in MDM, there are 3 or 4, I don't remember, it depends how you classify them, but 3 or 4 different types of contacts, right? So, and some of them may or may not be part of the marketing activities, so it creates challenges on the mapping level, on the higher level, not on the attribute level. So I wonder how Kingswaysoft gets around those problems.
Yeah, I haven't played with the MDM adapter as much as the Parature one, so I can't answer that. But it would be good to get somebody from Kingswaysoft on as a guest here. And just to put a plug in, our next episode, we're slated to have James Bowen, who is very knowledgeable about internet marketing. He's worked for not only Microsoft partners, but he's also worked for Sales Logic, so he's got a great experience with the current market standpoint of where MDM is strong and where it might have some competitive weaknesses against others. So I laugh every time I hear MDM because I have had customers ask me, what's your MDM strategy? And I don't know if it's mobile device management, I don't know if it's master data management, or I don't know if it's Microsoft Dynamics marketing. That is the worst acronym to choose. You got to pick something different that's more distinct. This is one of the reasons why I invited James for next week, is because frankly, email marketing automation is one of the few things in our industry that I've had trouble getting myself excited about. My knee-jerk reaction is it's how to spam people with CRM. But I realize there's more to it than that, so I'm anxious to have James change my mind next week.
Look, there's one interesting number that I picked up a couple of days ago. I'm a big fan of the company called Campaign Monitor. Their sole purpose is to create and distribute nice-looking marketing emails. And one of the stats they mentioned in their latest email is that email as a channel 40 times more effective than their nearest competitor.
Right.
So you take any other channel, would it be, web views, web advertisement, SMS, anything like that, email is still rules.
It's like the boring old grandpa. Everybody, it's not sexy, but it's still one of the most common, most effective. So yeah, I'm open to it. I just saying traditionally I've had trouble getting myself excited about it.
Interesting. I'll save it for the next time. But to me, the most interesting part of Dynamics marketing wasn't actually email, because simply because that wasn't the best of the breed implementation by a long stretch, right? So to me, the most interesting part was lead scoring, the stuff that doesn't exist in CRM in any shape or form, and ability to put your own, rules around what, when, and how to qualify your lead and give leads awards for any interaction that they perform. For example, they click on the link inside your email, 10 bonus points. They follow the link to the website and they subscribe to another email, 15 bonus points, and so on.
Oh yeah,
and but the issue with lead scoring is that kind of it puts your potential audience into a silo, because not everybody is using leads and not everybody can use leads to that degree. Whereas where more of the marketing is I think more holistic, and those kind of same nuances that you're talking about for leads could be just as well leveraged within a marketing campaign to really understand not only the channel that you're using, but the content that you're using to get the message out to that, and find out whether or not it's effective or not, whether you're getting a good return on it or not. Those are the things that get me excited in terms of of impressions and looks, and what does that mean if someone opened your email or if someone opened a link on your website? What is that really doing for your bottom line?
Oh, and I think that the digital asset management stuff, like the marking up files and things like that, I think that's super cool. I haven't found any.
Oh, this one is super cool. Yeah.
And I would love to see things like the rich text editor and even some of the file markup stuff get into CRM to give us like rich text boxes and things, better multimedia file management stuff and things like that. But that's off the topic. So, Sean, what was your third news story? I think we've pretty much beat that to death as much as possible.
We have. The third news story is a personal one to the podcast. If I'm not mistaken, I believe you and George had your MVP recognized again for another year for 2015. Is that correct?
Yes, on Canada Day.
Very nice, and a fine way to spend it.
Are you year 8 now, George?
Yes, I believe we are the same year.
Yeah, I believe we were both originally awarded in 2008. We can track how long we've been MVPs by the length of the Obama presidency.
Very nice. Very nice. And oddly enough, people have tried to get you kicked off as many times as they've tried to repeal Obamacare. So it's interesting, the parallels.
That's a strange coincidence.
Well, to honor that, to honor this momentous day on the podcast, I've crafted a short, and by crafted, Googled a short quiz to test your MVP knowledge. We're gonna just for full disclosure, this is on 2013, CRM 2013. Could be online or on-prem, doesn't matter. We're gonna do 5 questions, and we're gonna go back and forth. First one of the 3 is MVP of the pod. So I'm thinking of a number in my head. George, what?
Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me clarify one thing. I'm just bringing. I don't believe at any point in time it's actually says anything about the knowledge. Yes. Okay. Here we go. This award, MVP award, is given to exceptional technical community leaders who actively share their high-quality, real-world expertise with others. So it doesn't say anything about knowledge. Just wanted to clarify.
I believe George is putting it out in for himself.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening right now.
He's probably a little He's probably a little gun shy from the death match last week.
That's all right. When you get schooled so many times, it becomes a pattern. That's fine. So we're gonna do best of 5. George, I'm gonna let you. I have a number in my head between 1 and 10. I'm gonna let you pick a number and to determine who gets the first question.
1.
Joel?
4.
Okay, the number is 7. Anybody that knows me, it's my lucky number. So we're gonna go to Joel first. All right, Joel.
Yes.
Can an owner team, security team, be converted to an access team?
Yes, it can.
And what are the requirements in order for it to be converted to an access team?
That wasn't the question. The question is, can it?
This is a follow-up question. 2-parter.
It can't own any records.
Is that it?
Yeah, I'm going to go with that.
Okay, very close. It cannot have a security role.
Oh,
but that's all right. That was like the push to the extra MVP question category. So
can it actually own any records without having the role?
No, you can't.
Yep. Okay, then I'll give that one to you. I was looking specifically for not having a role, but that's fine.
Okay, I'm smelling the bias, but okay, yeah, go on.
When a sandbox instance is in administrative mode, which users can sign in to use the sandbox instance?
When a sandbox instance, I believe global admins.
That is correct. I would also have taken users with a system customizer security role. All right, one to one. This one is to Joel. Well, that's a bit of a softball. I'm not gonna.
What are you talking about?
All right, I'll do it. What needs to be configured before users can access Dynamics CRM data with CRM for tablets?
Well, you have to have the security role permission for CRM for tablets. You also have to have the metadata, user metadata, read, access. I believe that's it. You have to have a security role too.
I would the other thing I was looking for is internet-facing deployment, but that's.
Oh no, I'm talking about online.
Oh, are you? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about online.
Oh, okay. All right. George. Hold on here. Can you change a price list on an open opportunity?
Say again. Can you change the price list?
Can you change the price list on an open opportunity?
Can you change the price list on open opportunity? I don't believe you can.
Ooh, sorry. You can.
You can.
If there are no open quotes. There are no open quotes.
What about the currency change? What if you pull in does currency need to match?
The currency needs to match the price list, yes.
Okay, so you can't, because I was thinking Australian versus US dollars.
Is that what was happening there? Okay.
No, it's a very close subject because our dollar is going down, and as a result, our Azure price is going up as 1st of August by 25% or so.
But the good news is that that Rolf Harris records are now much cheaper here.
I don't even know who that is.
Timing Kangaroo Down Sport.
I would at least went, old school Olivia Newton-John, something. Here's the last question. And this one.
Hold on, I thought we were gonna have 5 each.
We were doing 5 first to 3. We've already passed 3, so in the interest of time, which is larger, the maximum size for a solution that is to be imported into CRM Online or CRM On-Prem?
Oh, I know.
I thought they were the same, but I mean, I would think that's my answer. I'm like verbalizing my thought process. I would think, though, if there is a difference, that the on-prem one would be larger.
Swing and a miss,
6
George.
versus 28 or 29 meg, I think.
So online is bigger?
Yeah.
Well done, George.
Yeah, and it's on-prem it's 6, online it's 28.
Why is that?
Something like. I don't know, probably because you can change on-prem.
Is that an organization setting you can change?
Yeah.
With on-prem?
Yes, it is.
So how could I be
Maximum
wrong?
size of the solution. Well, you are wrong, because out of the box.
Did he say default?
I said the maximum. Now, I'm going to go to. This is not.
Okay, now you're splitting hairs, Joe. Okay,
no, this is not.
You...
This is not debated. This is 6 meg for on-prem, 29.296 for online.
Okay, all right.
So very nice. That quiz, just so we can get the appropriate acknowledgments out there. That was a CRM 2013 quiz from Eliza Benitez. Got that off of their blog. Very good quiz. Check it out if you're wanting to give yourself a quick quiz. He also gives you the keys to that. So.
Well, speaking of questions, one of the things that I've noticed is that the Facebook CRM forum has really gotten more popular. Every day there's a bunch of questions there, and I'll tend to answer them. But when we were talking about this kind of off the podcast a week or two ago, and that in my opinion, Facebook is really kind of a terrible platform for a forum. I can't search for anything. It's like the same questions come up over and over, and it's like once it's there, you can never find it again.
It is a weird forum. It's had some definite permutations. I find that there's a lot of you have different little modes for that Facebook forum. You'll go through periods where people are promoting a lot of things. There was a rash where there was people spamming for jobs, which that's been kind of taken care of as of late. And then we have a lot of entry-level folks, which this is a good thing, bringing questions that get a lot of answers and a lot of responses. So that's really neat to see. But you also see a lot of folks replying with unsupported manners to solve problems, which it's always good to see when others call those things out, just to make sure that the unsupported nature of that fix, quote unquote, is known.
And then they get pummeled by people and Jim Daly and people like that saying that's not supported.
Yeah. But it's good. I think when unsupported fixes happen in the wild, if you will. But there's always a good time and not a good time to use an unsupported fix, depending on a number of factors. So it's always good to be really upfront and clear about that kind of thing. I find the Facebook forums a lot more, I guess, user friendly than going out to the community site. The community site's more like a spider's web of questions and digging to find better answers. I agree with you that you can't really necessarily search as well as you can on the web in the Facebook forums, but there is a bit of searching you could do with Facebook that will return results, but it's not always specifically from that blog forum.
Right. It seems like, for example, for a while, every week it seemed there was a question coming about the email router forward mailbox feature. And it was like I'd answer it, and then 2 weeks later it would come up, and then I couldn't find the one from before, so you wind up either typing it, the whole answer again. But the good thing about the other forums, like the MSDN forum, are you can search it, you can find something from 3 years ago, post a link to it. But the problem is that's not where the people are. I'm never there for other reasons, or something like Facebook or maybe LinkedIn if you're a LinkedIn fan. You're there for other reasons, so it's kind of you can just jump in and take one or two. Lately, I've been given the same answer. 2 words. You can't. So like somebody asked, how do I rename the notes tab in the social pane? I respond back, you can't.
Yep.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, and then I love the post where you can do this and this and this and this, and sending down a path that's just not a good plan at all. Go ahead, George. Sorry.
Yeah, I find them mildly entertaining, just looking through them. How do you answer questions like, hi, how do I buy a Dynamics CRM license without involving my favorite site? Let me Google that for you.
And actually, Joe, I was just playing around with Facebook search. And as long as you type in the name of the forum, the name of the group, and then you type in whatever string you want to search on, it returns the posts.
Oh,
so that's
cool.
pretty
Let me try that right now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try.
Yeah. So I did Microsoft Dynamics CRM, which is the name of the group, and then I just typed email router, and it doesn't find any people, but it then returns all of the posts that have Microsoft Email Router or Email Router in the body.
What do you know? Wow, yeah, I just found the forward mailbox once.
Media. I know it's a path of least resistance, but my attitude towards the forums and media like that is that each person deserves as much respect as they put into forming their question. If people don't have any respect for the audience they asking, but, mumbling the question effectively and, typing randomly with with no regards for the spelling. I know that for some of them it's not their first language, I know that, but sometimes it's like obvious typos and things like that. So obviously people typing without putting any effort into formulating the question. So I have no regard. I have no desire to provide an answer.
Right. I'm not going to go to Facebook and just spend time in the Dynamics forum. But what I will do is, since I'm part of that group, when I log on to Facebook and I see some questions in there that I think, as I'm there, and if I can respond back in 3 to 5 minutes or whatever, to me it's maybe the path of least resistance, but it's also kind of where the people are. It's also, I find, on the forums, the MSDN forums, if you try and help somebody or they ask you a question and they don't give you enough detail and you ask some follow-up questions, a lot of times they never visit it again. They don't see it again. Whereas here, because of the notifications, typically if somebody's really interested, and again, not just a dumb question or whatever, but something where somebody really is looking for help about something and have got time, if I ask a follow-up question, generally they respond back to it or it gets answered very quickly too. I've also asked something there and gotten some good input too. The interesting part about this discussion, or what I take away from it, is like so much other stuff in technology, it's not necessarily the best UI that wins. It's not necessarily the best design that wins if you don't have the content there. It can be a fairly poorly designed forum, doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but if it's where the people are, that to me tips the scale, and that's the more useful solution.
Well, and I think for the people asking the questions, Facebook's a much less intimidating community forum. I could see, back when I was a customer, I could see going into the community to ask a question. I personally wouldn't want to ask a stupid question. Even though it may be very, very important to me, and my knowledge at that time may not have been as much as I know now. Whereas Facebook, it's Facebook. Do you know what I mean? So there's a built-in kind of filter in that regard where it's, for someone submitting the question, it's a much lower risk place to start.
And what I'm wondering too if there's a different mindset, because on general rule, people responding on the Facebook forum are genuinely not negative response, but it's a pretty positive atmosphere.
So, some people, you're saying someone answering like, no, you cannot.
Well, there's a difference, like you can't versus you can't, and you're an idiot for thinking you could. That's what it is. And what I would say is, I think in some ways being independent from Microsoft, because the MSDN forums, a lot of people are trying to build up their badges. They're trying to be recognized as the top leader. Maybe they're trying to become an MVP or something. And, I've been there, so I'm talking from experience where you try and answer as many questions as you can, be the top answer. Where for this, that Microsoft, as far as I know, doesn't actively monitor the Dynamics group. I'm sure they do some, but they don't count points. They don't give badges, so it's almost like the motivation for answering there is different.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of copy and paste answers in the MSDN forum where they weren't really reading the question. They were just putting like, run a server trace, run a server trace, run a server trace.
Yeah. No. My favorite was read SDK dear. And please vote if you find it useful.
Yeah, that please vote if you find it useful. Again, I've done that, and I was guilty a few years ago.
I find in general, I tend to agree that Facebook answers they tend to be less condescending than some of the answers you find on MSDN forums and Dynamics forums. To confuse it all, there are two of those, right? So still.
Right.
So I suppose you were right in the beginning that it's the path of least resistance. Mm-hmm. So Facebook is sitting on most people's desks in one shape or another, or on the mobile and what's not. It's always there. So when they're working, and it takes virtually no context switch to post a question on a Facebook, whilst going to MSDN forum, kill me now, this login takes like 5 minutes to process with all the redirects in between, whilst I'm already on the Facebook. So it's
and no easy way to reply on your phone and things like that. So
I've got something interesting, non-CRM related.
Okay.
I've got on my desk, I'm actually quite excited about them. I've got two, I wish you could see that. I've got two boxes. The one says Parachute, with a double O-T. And you can Google it. It's called Smart Wearable Camera. It's hard to explain. It's the size of, I don't know, it's about 1 inch by 2 inches. It's very light. It's a camera. It's a high-def camera that you wear around your neck, or you can exchange the clips, and you can clip on something, and it's got the magnets that you can put on something. It's controllable through your phone, and you can shoot clips. You can shoot time. You can shoot slow-mo, you can shoot time-lapse, so all the different modes, and it operates as a camera.
So
right? It's a wearable.
Did you do the Indiegogo thing for it?
Yeah. Yes. But I also did on a Kickstarter, I did Mi Mini camera.
Okay.
It's slightly bigger. It's got only one, it's got lanyard, and it's got very strong magnetic clip. So you clip it on your cloth, like from underneath. But the way it operates is different. The way it operates, it shoots in continuous loops between 5 seconds and 5 minutes. You configure the loop.
Okay.
And it's got one button on it. And basically when you push this button, it sends the last loop to your phone or to the cloud, depending on configuration.
Okay.
So effectively, it's like Mi Mini. It's a camera like, ooh, I wish I had a camera right now.
So it's kind of like the dashboard cams for your body.
It actually can be used as a dashboard. It's got the accelerator sensor. So if it accelerates rapidly, it automatically sends the last loop.
I'm interested. I'm interested to see your video. I actually did the narrative clip, which is a still camera, but it like takes a picture every 30 seconds, kind of thing. And
you can see mostly your hands. Right?
Yeah, so I get this, but the really hard part was clipping on you. It was really hard to get it to be level and at the right level, and because I would wind up with like shots of people's foreheads or their shoes or the sky. I would occasionally get one, but it was fun. But just my experience with the spy cam, okay, because sometimes I like to play jokes on people. And so my idea was wear it around the office and get funny pictures of my coworkers that I could Photoshop and things like that. But that only worked one day. Then they realized I had a camera, and it's like I tried to put it nonchalantly. I got the gray one that kind of matched my shirt, and even so, they could tell you got something clipped on your shirt.
No, it's not a spy camera by all means. But the question I had is, the jury's still out on this one, but particularly Mi Mini, it's a beta. I've got the beta version of the camera.
So how are you going to position it so that when you say, "Oh, I wish I had a video camera," that you got the shot? Are you going to turn your body, pivot?
So far, I put it on my heart. in the area, assuming that I have one. So I put in this area, and I did a couple trial shots, and it actually looks all right. It's
you know what? Where that would be cool would be going to Disney World or something, because you could go on the ride or like walk around the park. And
look, to me, that's what Parature camera seems to be doing a bit better. Like you can put it into recording mode and you just go on, right? The Mi Mini camera has slightly different concept around that. You push the button when something really interesting just has happened. You shoot continuously.
Right.
And then when something happens and you say, damn, I wish I got that on camera. And guess what? You have the last, 2 minutes on camera. So you just push the button and sends it. So it's kind of retrospective camera, whilst Parature tends to be more like I'm shooting now camera, and you go on rides with it. Well, Mi Mini is more about the moment, waiting for the moment to happen. So I'm still evaluating like the battery time, the convenience, and all sort of stuff. I would
use that as a parenting tool, because when I'm in the grocery store, my kids start fighting with each other. I take the camera out and then like make them watch the instant replay when we get home, and so I would definitely be using that. That's what I would use that for. I've actually used the narrative clip to get some good pictures of them, and just say, you never know when I'm taking pictures.
That's fine.
No, just send it straight to streaming to YouTube. That's what they should do.
Exactly.
No, but I wonder if all these kind of wearable cameras is the way things moving into the future. Like it started with GoPro, obviously, but now it's more for everyday cameras, and they pitch them interesting as a security mechanism.
Sure.
Like you shooting what's going on around you, so things like that, and not missing things.
And now it's time for George Dubinsky's Developer's Minute. Listeners should not drive or operate power tools while listening to George Dubinsky's Developer's Minute.
Insert or update a record using Upsert. This sample code shows how to insert or update records by using the Upsert message introduced with Microsoft Dynamics CRM Online 2015 Update 1. Download C#, opening bracket 643.4 KB, closing bracket. Rating 0. Downloaded 101 times. Favorites add to favorites. Requires Visual Studio 2013, Technologies CRM Online, Microsoft Dynamics CRM 2015. Topics: Upsert operation. Report abuse to Microsoft. Browse code. Product upsert sample.ces 18.75 KB // equal I believe 72 times equal character returned // This file is part of the Microsoft Dynamics CRM SDK code samples. Full stop. Copyright C. Microsoft Corporation. All rights reserved. This source code is intended only as a supplement to Microsoft development tools and/or online documentation. See these other materials for detailed information regarding Microsoft code samples. This code and information are provided, quote, as is, quote, without warranty of any kind, either expressed or implied, including but not limited to implied warranties of merchantability and or fitness for a particular purpose. Snippet, product upsert sample, using system, using system.service-model, using system.service-model.description, I think that's all we have time today.
This has been George Dubinsky's Developer's Minute. Join us next time to hear George say,
anything is written in all caps, am I supposed to shout it?
Yes.
Well, I think we've reached the end of episode 4. I think it was a good one. A little bit laid back because of the beginning of the fiscal year. Next episode, we will have James Bowen, who has a lot of experience in Dynamics marketing automation in general. So look forward to that. Join us next time. This has been CRM Audio, the Microsoft Dynamics CRM podcast. You can hear previous episodes on our website, crm.audio. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, follow us on Twitter at CRM Audio, or leave us a comment on our Facebook page, facebook.com/CRM podcast. If you have any topic suggestions or questions that you would like for us to answer on a future episode, please drop us an email at voice@crm.audio. Special thanks to Dale Simmons for our theme music. Go check out his website, dalesimmons.com. Please join us next time on CRM Audio.